You're listening to The Sports Moment, January 24th, 2024. Part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Starting off today's podcast with an always busy Tuesday night. Let's get right to the scoreboard, and what a night for Kallyn Grove, the junior for the Underwood Rockets. Had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and a team record 11 blocked shots in last night's 70-30 win over Wheaton Herman Norcross. I had a conversation with her coach, Brian Hovland, a little earlier today about her performance last night.
Brian Hovland is the head coach for the Underwood Girls Basketball team. They had a big win over Wheaton Herman Norcross last night, 70-30, and what a night for junior Kallyn Grove. Team record in blocked shots, Brian. That was just part of the story, but let's start there. What makes Kallyn so efficient, and what was working for her on the defensive end last night?
She does such a good job of with her long arms and being able to not get into foul trouble. She just, when you think of a block shot, you see a lot of people that are swatting stuff, and she doesn't do that. It's more of just keeping that a high hand and getting tips on stuff and tipping blocks. And then when she does that, she's able to get the ball right away, which leads into outlets and rebounding and sending and getting us running on the floor. So, every one of those 11 blocks, I think she collected, out of that. And then we get to run. So it's quite an accomplishment, and, as a school record. And then she passed single season record last night too for that she's at 61 blocks on the season. So.
Well, you kind of anticipated my next question by talking about controlling the blocked shots, because she had a dozen rebounds too. And, what a great gift that is, to be able to not only get the block, but to control it and get something going offensively.
Exactly. And this is coming from the girl that was our point guard last year. So when she can do that and then run our offense out of that, getting us down the floor, it's a special thing for us, our team, and you don't realize it. And when you talk about it and we do it, and then you see it in certain times last night in the game, I was like, oof, man, this is nice to have as a coach.
And then she gets 25 points on the offensive end. So have you really seen an increase in confidence on that end of the floor from Kallyn?
And I've been bugging her about it. She's so unselfish. And I've been pushing her that we need her to shoot a little more. Last night on that 25 points, she was 6 of 7 from 3. A 6-footer that can do that is nearly impossible to defend, so when she can do that and she has the confidence to be able to shoot over people, that's huge for us. And the reason I've been bugging her to shoot more is that as she's shooting 55% from 3 this year, and that's ungodly. I mean, that's something that we have never had, or I don't know of many teams that have had. So it's having her look to score more is going to be big for everybody, because now it opens everything else up for everybody else. So.
Well, you're doing a great job anticipating my questions, because that was where I was going next. When you have a player like that can do so many things well, it really opens up opportunities for her teammates and really puts pressure on the defense.
Very much so. And Liz has kind of always been that girl that, really attack stuff and it opens up for other people, and that same thing, when you can have 2, 3, or Ezra, Trinity, 4, that can really do that, can push the defense into bad situations. The more we can do that, the better we're off, and so, it's not only that offensive side, it's the defense side, of course, but she's I'm excited. She's one where you got to kind of poke into doing those things. You got to tell her we need this because of how unselfish she is. But and we're going to need it out of her coming up, and she knows that. So.
Yeah, that blocking, the shot blocking, just another great element. Not every team has it defensively to add to your package, and your team is playing such great defense. I mean, holding anybody to 30 points or less in a game is pretty incredible, and you're kind of doing that regularly.
Yeah, I actually looked on Minnesota scores. I think there's 3 teams in Class A that have played more than 10, 12 games that have in the 30s, even in the 30s, and I think we're averaging 38 points given up. So I mean, it's something that we're proud of. It's something that we base all of our stuff off of. Every day of practice we work on. It's the basis for everything we do, and that leads into our offensive stuff off of that. So.
Watch out for the Rockets. They are playing some great basketball right now, and boy, what a competitive section that is going to be with Hancock and Park Christian among the leaders there. And the Rockets are going to be right in the thick of it as they try to return to state this year, and Kallyn Grove will be a big key to them having that success. Well, a good night, too, for Bryn Sternberg of the Fergus Falls Otters. Bryn made 6 threes in the first half, had 20 of her 24 points at halftime. And the Otters hit 11 threes as a team as they bounced back from their loss to Moorhead on Monday to beat Rocori last night, 61-46. Good night for Mackenzie Tillman in Rothsay as she had 21 points, 9 rebounds to lead the Tigers past Ashby, 60-47. Kennedy Cameron hit 26 for Battle Lake last night, but Parker's Prairie had 4 players in double digits, and that balanced scoring attack led the Panthers to a 54-51 win over the Battlers. Hancock won big 74-39 over Clinton Graceville Beardsley. West Central area beat Staples Motley 70-34. Barnesville nipped Breckenridge 57-56. Pelican Rapids 55-43 over DGF. That's 15 wins for Brian Korf's girls. Morgan Korf had 23.6 assists, and Ellie Welch had 13 points and 9 rebounds, just missing a double-double in that one. Willow Thiel up to her old tricks, 35 points last night to lead Perham past Wadena Deer Creek, 72-39. In boys basketball last night, it was Ashby 73, Underwood 58. Henning shot 56% from the floor and got 25 points, 5 assists, and 4 steals from Cale Missigatis as they beat Monaga by a score of 83-42. And in addition to that line for Cale, Lane Dilley had 9 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. So an outstanding game for Dilley as well. West Central area got Melrose 68-59 last night. Micah Fuller scored 29 to lead Brandon Evansville past Parker's Prairie, 58-50. Tanner Rydell added 18 for the Chargers in that one. And Hillcrest, a big 28-point performance from Luke Christensen. Noah Brumfield added 17, and the Comets knocked off Hancock 68-51. They held Chase Evink to 5 points, and that's not easily done, but a good job, especially by Gabe Swedenberg defensively. Hudson Versteeg got his points, though. He got 28 in a losing effort for Hancock. Barnesville won over Minnewaska area 63-51. It was Crookston 68, Frazee 58. Bertha Hewitt over Pillager, lost to Pillager rather, 55-53. And Wadena Deer Creek beat Verndale 75-56. In boys hockey, Fergus Falls defeated Sartell 4-1, a good road win for Mike Donahue's guys, and Ryan Nelson was outstanding in goal. He had 32 saves in that one. Also, Jack Weldy had a goal and an assist. And the Otter girls won at home against Sartell Sauk Rapids Rice by a score of 5-0. Anna Jerkis had the shutout in goal, and Avery Tonneson had a shorthanded goal, a power play goal, and an assist last night for a 3-point night. In gymnastics, Perham was in Fergus Falls at the Roosevelt Gym. The Yellow Jackets posted a 136.875 to 131.65 victory. Maya Fear was a second-place finisher in the all-around scoring for the Otters, and Michelle Lamau was third all-around and first on the beam. And what a night at the Kennedy Secondary School pool as the Otters hosted St. Cloud Tech Cathedral Rocori Becker in a Central Lakes Conference boys swimming and diving dual meet, and they won it 93-92. Coach Randy Hansen said it came down to the last relay for the Otters to win by a point. They needed at least a second and a third place in that relay to win it, and that is exactly what they got. So good win for the Otters. They will hold their senior night on Thursday when they host Sauk Rapids. And wrestling duels last night, Westbrook Walnut Grove beat West Central area Ashby Brandon Evansville 40-33, and the Knights also lost a duel to Dawson Boyd Lac-Qui-Parle Valley Montevideo United 41-24. The Otters were at the Moorhead Triangular where they lost to the Spuds 37-33 and to DGF 69-4. Caleb Froning, though, earned his 50th pin of his career in that match. Well, I told you it was a busy night on the local front, and it certainly was. The Spartans are home tonight, doubleheader against St. Cloud Tech, starting at 5:30 with the ladies and then the men to follow. Lake Area Docks and Lifts is one of our sponsors, of course, on the podcast, and they invite you to the Fargo Dome Boat Show this weekend. They'll have a booth that they'll be sponsoring at that boat show, and you can certainly get ready for spring and summer with Lake Area Docks and Lifts, with 5 locations to serve you across Lakes Country.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Pemberton Law carries a legacy of trustworthy and reputable legal representation that dates all the way back to 1883. And at Pemberton Law, they serve you from offices in Fergus Falls, Wadena, Detroit Lakes, and Alexandria, and you can visit them online at pemlaw.com. Joe Mauer is in. He got elected to the 2024 Hall of Fame class, one of the best pure hitters of his era, along with Todd Helton of the Colorado Rockies. He got in on his 6th time on the ballot. The great thing about Mauer, it's his first time on the ballot, and he becomes one of only 3 catchers to be selected on their first year of eligibility. The other 2, pretty good guys, Johnny Bench and Ivan Rodriguez. So Mauer, Todd Helton, and Adrian Beltre are going into the Hall of Fame. They'll be inducted on July 21st in Cooperstown, New York. Beltre with 95% of the vote. Mauer only had 76.1%. He only got in by 4 votes. Of course, Mauer won batting titles in 06, 08, and 09, becoming the only catcher in history to lead his respective league in batting average on 3 separate occasions. And he was voted the American League MVP after his sensational 2009 season. He's also one of only 6 catchers ever with at least 3 Gold Gloves and 3 Silver Sluggers. 306 average in his 15-year career spent entirely with the Minnesota Twins. So July 21st is the induction date. Mauer becomes the youngest living member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. The Minnesota Golden Gophers almost pulled off the upset over 10th-ranked Wisconsin last night at Williams Arena. They were down 15 in the first half, but they mounted a furious second-half rally, led late in the game, but the Badgers held on for a 61-59 win. Gophers 12-7 overall, 3-5 in the Big Ten. They will be at Penn State on Saturday. Minnesota Timberwolves have lost 2 in a row, and that timing couldn't have been worse because Oklahoma City and Denver are both on 3-game winning streaks, and when you look at the Western Conference standings today, those 3 teams are dead even, tied for first place in the West. Minnesota will try to get out of their losing funk here when they go to Washington to take on a Wizards team that has won only once in their last 10 games. And the Minnesota Wild victorious on home ice against the Washington Capitals last night. Marcus Johansson scored twice against his former team. And the Wild beat the Washington Capitals 5-3. 11 different players had points for the Wild, and Philip Gustafson made 31 saves for his third straight win. The Wild have won 3 in a row and 4 of 5 after they lost 8 out of 9. It sure helps when you get healthy, doesn't it? The Wild are in action tomorrow. They will host Nashville at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul. And that's the podcast for today. Have a great Wednesday and come back and visit us again tomorrow.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.